Welcome to Movie Monday. The world is ending. Uh,
Right.
um, we so literally today, as of recording this, we have the school that I'm teaching at. The whole district is closed now because of coronavirus. So, hooray! Everyone's gonna get sick,
Yay.
and it's gonna be great. So we watched a movie about the end of the world.
It was not planned whatsoever.
not to this degree.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we watched Nine, and my background for this, I kind of mentioned this at the end of the last video, but I'll elaborate a little bit more. So, this was, released in, 2009, and this is about when I started, doing, more, just being more active online in general. And I feel like this was kind of like the first, trailer that I found on YouTube where I was like, oh my god, I need this movie in my life. And it was literally, I've seen the trailer so much that even watching the movie again, I knew what scenes were in the trailer.
Oh, really?
And again, this trailer's
Wow.
from 11 years ago. So, but I still remember that and remembered the lines that they say that's in the trailer and stuff like that. So, yeah, and specifically because the movie's called Nine, they released it on September 9th, 2009. So 99. Which actually wasn't the Friday. I think it was a Thursday or something. So, but they broke the rules.
They took the risk.
Yeah, and it's. I feel like this movie, just a lot of people don't really know about it because it didn't make a ton of money. I think it made just a little bit. Its budget, I think I looked it up. What was it? It was 30 million was the budget, and it made 48 million. So
Oh.
yeah, so I think a lot of people just kind of don't know about it. So actually, I kind of want to be I want to do a spoiler thing, because my take on this is I don't think this movie is amazing, perfect movie or anything, but I do think it's worth looking at, since it's definitely different than a lot of most other animated movies.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to be kind of vague for at least a bit because in my stance is I want to encourage people to watch it, which is hence the reason is why I picked it to show you guys. So yeah, so I guess overall thoughts for you.
I guess I'll go next as the person that had also a little bit of background information, which is not that much, but I had not watched it previously, but I had seen the movie poster. I think while I was at the theater, I saw the movie poster. And I remember it had nine, I think also two other figures. I can't remember who the other figures were on the movie poster. But it was set in an apocalyptic background and everything, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. But at the time I wasn't into this like complete disaster movies and stuff like that. And I think at the time I thought that despite it being animated, that it was going to be something really sad and depressing and stuff like that because of the color choices.
Well, they're not
So, yeah.
totally wrong.
I wasn't completely wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
But
Uh,
what'd you think?
it's definitely as you mentioned. I think the timing of it is impeccable.
We don't have
Um,
the robot uprising yet, but
Who would have
No.
thunk?
No, but I think with that mention, it is an interesting take on the robot uprising because, the way that the machine looks and everything kind of reminded me of do you guys remember in Meet the Robinsons, the villain,
Oh, yeah.
the bowler hat? So the machine kind of reminded me of that machine, and then the future that was shown in Meet the Robinsons, where that invention basically took over the world and everything. So it kind of I was like, oh, this kind of reminds me of that film actually a little bit. Obviously, this takes it much further in terms of the entire movie is based on the premise of the robot uprising. But yeah, I think in general it's an interesting story.
Okay, Mike.
So I knew nothing coming into this, and I was like, oh, that's a weird title for a movie, and then they explained it very quickly once you realize that the main character's name is 9. Because at first I was like, is 9 like an important number? Is it like Colony 9 or something? Is this another Hunger Games bullshit thing?
Well, if it's Colony 9, it's Xenoblade, but whatever.
Well, whatever.
You're
Let's
thinking
not...
about District 9, which has
Oh yeah, that was
actually-
another movie that actually came out in 2009.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it was only like a month or so actually apart from this.
Oh.
Anyway,
What's with 2009 with all the 9s?
I don't know.
All right. 2019 didn't have things like that. But yeah, I didn't know even the genre. I mean, like when we looked at the movie poster, I was like, okay, it looks like a war movie or like a crap saccharine world kind of movie, so like dystopia. And I have like, I mean, you guys know that I have this certain disdain for dystopia, so I was a little bit worried. I mean, I didn't dislike it. I think there was like a point where my interest was piqued more than it was previously.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Okay.
Because like part of it I was just kind of checked out because I was like, okay, so there are these dolls basically running around and it's the robot taking over the world cliche. So let's see how things go. That was kind of the attitude I had coming in.
But at the end of the
What do
day,
you
what do you think?
I think overall, like, the main twist I like, and then the ending I like. It just took a while for me to get there. Because the thing is that like the fight scenes were pretty good, and then like the visuals were good, but I just did not care for these dolls for a while. And I was like, okay, why is everyone like mad at one? I mean, he's kind of a hard ass, but that's kind of his personality trait.
Yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from it, because in the beginning I also was like, okay, I kind of don't get where this is going exactly. Like, what is exactly the plot going into this? And then when the plot does kick up, it's like, oh, okay, it's interesting, I guess. And then it kind of builds your interest over time, kind of.
Yeah, over time.
It doesn't, like, throw you into the middle of the action, kind of.
Yeah, it is, like, probably the weakest aspect is just the characters themselves.
Yeah.
Are just kind
definitely.
of okay.
They're just kind of whatever.
Yeah, like, they're kind of one... Well, the fact that they're kind of, like, just one personality trait for it, like, there's sort of a reason for it. But...
Yeah, it makes sense later.
But at the same time, it still is how it is. So, yeah, I'd say that's probably the weakest aspect, but I think that, like, again, the visual style of this is definitely, like, kind of unique and impressive, especially for 2009, like, thinking, like, animated films back then, it's, you know. So that's good, and it does handle, like, tension really well, and one of the reasons why is because, you see fairly early on that there are, like, actual legitimate stakes here. And then also kind of how they build on that and what happens later on. I think what you're saying, it kind of get you sucked into it more as you went along. I think that works well. And I do really like, there's one moment, like, I don't know, 3/4 of the way through the movie, that I like particularly as, like, just how the scene is set up. And yeah, again, I think it's just, it's not that I think that you're gonna necessarily love the movie and think it's amazing, but I just think it's interesting to experience, and because there isn't really another, like, animated film that's really like this I can think of.
Yeah.
So
I can.
yeah, that's kind of
It's definitely not an experience that I'm like, why the heck did we watch this?
Yeah.
It's not a dystopia that I hate.
No, it's definitely like I'm happy I saw it and stuff like that. I don't know if I would see it again per se, but I'm
That's
happy
fair.
that I saw it, and it's definitely something that, like, as you said, is very unique, because yeah, you don't really usually when it's like animated, it's like colorful and whimsical and stuff like that. Whereas here, they keep the same color palette throughout the entire movie
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
until the very end, where it's like, well,
Yeah. 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 So I think that's kind of my take on it. Is that I don't think you're necessarily going to love it, but it's definitely worth looking into. And I think you kind of are similar veins with that.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. If you haven't seen this, I recommend to go. It's on Netflix, so really easy to find.
At least as of right now. We don't know if it'll get taken down at any point.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, also, while everything is going on, you might as well be watching Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be stuck at home anyway, so there you go. Speaking, well, I'll talk about it later. But yeah, so there you go. Pretty easily available. Just push the 9 button on the keyboard, and there you go. You find it on Netflix. I was actually worried it was going to be really hard to find at first because I was like, how many things have 9 in their title? But it just popped right up. So I was like, oh, sweet. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah, so go check it out and see what you think. And I guess we can move on to...
Spoilers.
Yes. Okay, so the main thing that I want to get at is to what I kind of think is impressive for this movie, and that especially in terms of what it does that other animated movies don't, is that half of the characters just fucking die.
Yeah.
They're just dead.
They get their souls sucked out, and when that first happened, I was like,
yeah, like you actually see, like, it's not like implied or like someone's like, oh my god, the soul got sucked out. You actually legitimately see the soul get sucked out.
And you see the body like afterwards, and it's and like
then they use the body.
Yeah, and it's like they try to turn it like later as like, oh, you're freeing their souls or whatever. It's like kind of a good thing. It's like, yeah, but they're dead. You did not revive them, right? Yep. So it's that sense that again, it's like half of them. So it's this sense that like there's actual stakes here, and they actually just like, yeah, no, people aren't coming back, like they're gone, and it's like, all right, damn, okay, it's just kind of seeing how that happened. It was like, oh shit, all right, so that, and then the scene that I was saying where like 3/4 of the way that I like, it's that they've blown up the factory and they think they're done, and then they're listening to the the song on the phonograph thing, and then it's just like all happy and everyone and then 5 like runs after the record, and then it's just like the song is like there, but everything else kind of fades out, and then it's just you see the light in the smoke, and you're just like, oh,
gets fucking axed.
Yeah, so that just the sort of build up intention to that scene I like particularly, so. Yeah, that definitely that sort of just like, oh shit, yeah, they just died. Like that's definitely
there's no like magical like spell that will revive their bodies and stuff like that.
Because
again, like their lifeless bodies just drop.
Yeah,
basically.
And how the end is set up, like they could have totally done where the end of that, it's like with the freeing of the souls, it is like putting the souls back in their bodies and they're alive again, right? They totally could have written that, right? Yeah. But they don't. They're just like, nope, they're gone, and that's it. And it's just like, huh. Okay then. So yeah, that's kind of what I give them a lot of credit for that. But yeah, I do agree that again the characters themselves are just kind of and then there are some moments of the story where the pacing is a little off.
Yeah.
The one that
it's like a little bit too fast sometimes.
The one that I always point to.
Too slow.
Yeah, the one I always point to is that again right after that thing where they realize the machine's not destroyed and there's the bridge thing and it gets 6 or whatever, and then they're like, oh okay, we got to deal with this thing, and then it's like really tense action, and then 9 just like runs off to like back to the scientist and like sees the code thingy and then figures out what to do and then comes back and they're still like running for the thing, and it's like. That was a weird break of the action. Like I don't know how else they could have done it, but it was just kind of weird. Where it was like, the break in that it was like, okay. I just imagining them just like 9 just fucks off, and the rest of them are like, okay, I guess we'll just run away. Like
9 like find them afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know. So like there's that, and then there's like I do think the beginning is like a little bit like you said. It's just kind of like they're just doing stuff, okay, So yeah. So. There's definitely things you could criticize with this, and I understand that. But I still...
By no means is it like, oh my god, it like piles up.
No.
You shouldn't see this movie. It's still like an interesting watch.
Yeah. I do like the scientist scene. I thought that was very interesting.
Mm. Yeah. Oh, actually, speaking of the scientist scene. So, there was actually a promotional Facebook page leading up to the movie's release that was called 9 Scientist.
Oh.
and it had like teaser stuff for like various drawings. Like for example, I'm looking at it right now, and there's leading up to the release, there's sort of like a schematic like drawings of like the different dolls, right? And
Yeah.
kind of going through that. But after the release of the movie, it stopped posting, right? Because the movie came out.
Yeah.
Right.
Until January 20th, 2017.
What?
What?
Where it posted, "The light has faintly flickered on again beneath the ashes, and I have begun the long-awaited search for hope. I must find 9."
Oh, does that imply that?
And it's
the
never
story
it's
takes
never
place?
posted anything else afterwards.
Oh.
So when that was originally posted, I remember I specifically got a Facebook notification that was like, a page that you follow has posted after a very long time of not posting or something, and I was like, huh? Because I was very confused, like, why is this page posting, right? It's been 8 years, I mean, the movie didn't make that much money, so like, we figured a sequel is not a thing. I mean, it doesn't really seem like a sequel is really going to happen just story-wise too much either. So...
Yeah.
It was just really weird. So then everyone's like, oh my god, is there going to be like a sequel? What's happening? But then we've heard nothing since then. So I just thought that was weird thing to share for that. So yeah, shrug. I don't know. Yeah, because I've seen people talk about a sequel. I don't really know what they could do with a sequel though, especially since 5 of them are dead. And
Wait,
Hmm?
it was also implied that there were more of them, it seems, or something.
Did it? I didn't notice that.
Because I think, like, one mentioned that we've lost, like, many others or something.
Oh, I think that was the beginning because he thought 3, 4, and 7 were dead because they had left.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, got you.
Because if you look, there's like the calendar behind him that has like the days for like 1, 2, 3, to there, and
Right,
3, 4, and 7
yeah.
were crossed out, and then he crosses out 2. So I think that's what he meant.
Okay, got you.
2 got fucking axed.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't.
Wait. That also implies that 3 and 4 are actually older than 7 and 9.
Yeah, I'm not because there's a flashback scene where you see them like except for 9, all of the others are like hiding under like the helmet while like the war's going on around them.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
is not. I guess the idea is that they were made in order, but it's still like it seems like 1 to 8 all kind of revived at the same time.
Mhm.
But it does wonder then like wait, so then why was 9 so much later? I think the implication is that because again the scientist was like putting his soul into part of his soul into all of them, right? So
Yeah.
but by creating 8 of them, he like was almost dead but not quite. And then so he's like I'm gonna try to live on, but then he's maybe realizing the world's fucked, like I'm gonna die anyway, so like might
It's
as well.
time to make 9.
I guess that's the idea. It's a little bit big, but yeah. So yeah, again, in terms of a sequel, I don't really know what they would do. And again, I'm trying to think like what if like even if they somehow like do just like different characters in the same world, but I'm like I don't know. I don't
Like,
think
what
that
kind of character?
right, exactly. I don't know how that really works. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But any other spoilery thing to mention?
The only scene where we get the touch of blue, who is at the end, and I find it interesting that they used green as the color to denote the soul, because then when you see in the end with the like microorganisms and stuff, they're all green.
Yeah.
Which is like life. So
Yay.
I found that interesting.
Yeah. So
Color direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So that works. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I guess not really. The main thing I wanted is the spoiler thing. It's just them all dying. So, yeah. But anything else to mention?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, then I guess we got to do a rating. Want me to go first?
I guess.
Okay. So. I was very tempted to just give this a 9, but I'm not going to do that. I don't think it is quite up there because again there is some issues like the pacing and the characters kind of. So I'm going to give it an 8 though. So again, I really like the style and just kind of what they did in terms of the just committing to the deaths of the characters. And again, I've seen this. I think this is the fourth time I've seen it.
Oh,
Third,
wow.
third or fourth. Again, there's this first time in theaters, and I know for a fact I saw it at least once, maybe twice between then and now. But
It is a pretty short movie.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like 75 minutes or something. It's pretty short. So, yeah. So again, I could definitely fully acknowledge if you just kind of like thought it was like decent, but couldn't really get super into it. And yeah, I wouldn't say I'm super into it. I love it because again, I'd give it an 8. But that's kind of where I stand. So.
I think for me, I'll give it a high 7.
Okay.
Where definitely, it's not a bad film by any means, but I don't know if I would revisit the film.
That's fair.
Kind of.
Yeah, I'll probably also give it a 7 because, like, at least by the time we found out, like, what the scientist deal was, I was, like, more hooked, and I kind of liked the concept that went with him, so it kind of made up for all of the times where I was like, okay. So, yeah.
Okay, well, there we go. So we have...
If I was to rate Hunger Games, I would give it a 0. I just want to put that out there.
What would I give the Hunger Games?
It's funny because I was at the bookstore today and I saw like the prequel and I was like, ha, President
Wait, there's a
Snow.
prequel?
Oh yeah, I think I remember seeing that on Wikipedia. for some
Yeah,
reason.
I think I might have told at least one of you, or maybe you don't remember,
I
but
feel like that sounds right.
Oh no, I remember this.
yeah, I was talking about how everyone was like, why did you make President Snow the main character of the prequel?
Right,
Because there's
yeah.
there are infinite more interesting characters that were not Katniss, and certainly not President Snow.
Yeah.
So good job, Suzanne Collins.
I think, and again, if I were to rate the films, Hunger Game films, I think I would give the first 2 5s. For at least being like having some interesting ideas. At least the style for the first 2 are like all right. And I don't hate what they're doing for the first 2, story character wise. But then I think after that, I don't know, Mockingjay 1, like a 4, Mockingjay 2 a 3, maybe. I don't know. I definitely don't hate them as much as you, but
I don't remember much of the films to
yeah, that's fair.
actively be able to give a number rating.
It's okay. I'm
I
just
just know
petty.
that it's not going to be as high as this film.
Yeah.
Or close to this film at all.
Okay, well,
Not even.
yeah. Well, we have that for that film. Now we gotta pick a new one.
Yes.
A new thing. Is Tara finally gonna get a movie?
I'm gonna finally get a movie. I hope so. I want want one of my movies at least. I don't want to
Never.
go last.
See what happens.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh, you're not going. Mine's going again.
Again?
Oh, Shawshank Redemption time. Another happy movie.
Oh crap, I have to pick a new one to replace it.
Yeah, at least you get to pick a new one to replace it.
I'm sorry.
Are you?
I'm sorry.
Hey, I mean, this means now... Well, never mind. Oh, I forgot to say what I was replacing mine with.
Yeah, what are you replacing yours?
I replaced... So I actually... There was a bit of a... I wasn't sure, so I kind of asked for opinions, and so we decided on that I replaced it with Doctor Strange. For 2 reasons. One is that, there is going to be a sequel next year, so we should watch the first one before that. And I would say, of the straight-up origin stories of the MCU, okay, so not counting, because, Spider-Man Homecoming is not a straight-up origin, right?
Yeah.
And, Black Panther's not really a straight-up origin. Well, that's kind of its own thing. Anyway, but of the straight-up origins, that would be, Iron Man 1, Captain America 1, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Thor 1, I guess, is kind of one.
Yeah.
Maybe Black Widow? We don't know yet.
Oh, yeah. Ant-Man 1, I guess Captain Marvel you can throw in there probably as well. Anyway, of all of those straight-up origin stories, I like this one the most. So, and granted, a lot of it is for superficial reasons. But, because, people always talk about, CGI in movies, oh, CGI, it's not that great or whatever, or overuse of CGI, and I'm like, look, CGI has its place in many things, and one of those ways it can do is if you just want to use it, just go batshit insane. And this movie does that. So I want you to see how that works, because I think it's pretty entertaining in that sense. So
We shall see.
you'll see at some point. But for now, we get probably... Basically, it seems like we're going to get Green Mile version 2. From what tiny little bit I know about this movie.
And at this point, I'm going to presume that after that, it's going to be Iron Sky, and I'm going last.
No.
Are we? Oh no, are we? Does that mean we're saving Toto Awkward for the last? Oh no.
Tara's Revenge.
Well, hey, I mean, it's a 4-hour movie, but I don't have to go to school for a month, so who cares, right? It doesn't matter. We can watch like 10 minutes every day for the next like 3 weeks, and it's fine. So, okay. Anyway, so all right, next is Shawshank Redemption.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.